is really funny. So I had never actually like sat through the cold open thing, that we always do. And of course, the shot of me is me pitching a flash book. I think that was intentional. Anyway, we got a very different show for you guys tonight. As you guys know, I'm in the last few days of my Kickstarter campaign for Warline right now, and I decided to pay it forward. Rather than try and sell you guys some back issues, I'm bringing on some of my peers in the comic book world to talk about their Kickstarter campaigns, and we're going to spread the wealth. We're going to spread the love. You're going to hear about some awesome projects tonight, so stick around.
You're watching Kickin' It with Onrie, the live shopping show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Kickin' It with Onrie, the live shopping show. I am your host, Onrie Kompen. We are doing something a little bit different tonight. We are bringing on a bunch of creators to talk about their Kickstarters. So it is my pleasure to welcome a smorgasbord of some of the best indie creators in the game today. Let's bring them all in, Jay. Look at this. It's like that Avengers Endgame moment where everybody just kind of comes in, I forgot to do the little ring thing here. All right, we got an awesome crew here. We have one more person that's going to join us at the top of the hour, but for now, this is the crew here, and we're gonna kind of do a quick round, I guess, of introductions, and then basically what I think we're going to do is we're going to go through each person. Each person's going to talk about their campaign, and we're going to throw it out to you guys, give you guys a chance to ask us questions, and if not, we'll just come up with stuff to talk about. I mean, we're all creative. We can talk about something here. So, Mr. Fish, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I am Mr. Fish from Mr. Fish Comics. I'm the fastest pen in indie comics. I am finishing up my 115th book in the last 6 years that I've illustrated, and I'm working on Alice Lost in Wonderland right now.
That's awesome. Awesome. All right, Mr. Dan Price. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Onrie. How you doing?
Doing good, man. It's good to have you here. Tell us who you are, what you do.
My name is Dan Price. I am the creator, co-writer, and artist of the book Bigfoot Knows Karate. Currently on Kickstarter with Chapter 3, Hellhound on My Trail. That's what I do. Check it out. We have like 24 days or something like that left on the campaign. Already funded. So check out the book. We're going to be making one. So might as well get one. Check it out.
Awesome. And just so you guys know, Bigfoot Knows Karate is a big seller on Kickin' It. A lot of you guys who shop with me on a regular basis, you guys know this book pretty well. And this is a chance to jump on and get issue 3 right now. I've backed it. I'm one of the first backers. I'm backer number 4. I was thinking I was number 1, but I was number 4. And I literally watched this campaign fund in like 20 minutes. It was insane. Awesome. So Dan, keep up the good work. The next guy we got here is Aaron Wroblowski. This guy is awesome. He is doing some really cool stuff. Aaron, tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Aaron Wroblowski. I am the writer-creator of several horror series. My current one is Enenra, which is on Kickstarter now. I also write the Blood and Fire, Ice and Bone, and Amor Patrice.
Awesome. Our next guest needs no introduction. Please welcome Mr. Joe Benitez. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
We probably all know who you are, but tell us what you're doing. What you're up to these days.
I'm working. Well, we have a Kickstarter for the new Lady Mechanica called The Mechanical Menagerie. We have a guest writer, Madeline Holland Rosen, and she does her own book. What is it? The Boston
Physical Society.
Yeah. So it's like, it's I haven't done a book for a while, so it's getting back on the saddle.
Awesome, man. Well, it's great to have you here. Thank you for joining us. And the next man we got here is one of my favorite people in comics, the sweetest guy and also a mega talented dude, Stephan Franck. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you? Good to be here.
Tell us who you are, what you do.
Well, I have this sort of double life. One half of it is in animation, where for instance, I was one of the directors on Marvel's What If, so I do a lot of animation, and
Shit.
but also I do a lot of comics. And as the animation is done kind of on the corporate side, all the comics stuff I do is on the independent side with my company Dark Planet Comics. And so we've had a few series, but the one that's active right now, the two that are active right now actually, is Palomino, which is this crime story that the campaign here is for volume 4 and 5, and this other historical romance in the Age of the Space God, which I'll talk about later.
Awesome. Yeah, Stephan, you are a huge inspiration to me. Like, when I see you go to cons and you're selling all these boxes of books and everything, just totally crushing it. And I'm just in awe of you, dude. You are the benchmark for me, my friend.
Dude, right back at you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks for being
Onrie, every time you do a Comic-Con, you seem to be like, sold out.
Yeah, okay, but I have like 10 or 11 boxes. Like, Stephan brings like 50 of these things, and he like gets rid of every single one of them.
So this is like, the dude we look up to looks up to. That's what he's saying.
That's exactly it. Everybody's got a benchmark. So there you go. All right, now the final guest we have here right now is a gentleman that I absolutely adore. He's one of the first people I actually interviewed when I started doing interviews and all that stuff. So we got Matt Knowles here. He just launched a new book today. So his Kickstarter just launched, and he's already over the 50% mark. So let's see if we can help him get the rest of the way there.
Hey, so how you doing? My name is Matt Knowles. I'm one half of Symmetry Creations. Today we just launched our third campaign of the year. We've already done Heirs of Isildur, the Perilous Prospects Book 4. Just sent Misfits Clubhouse all the shenanigans so far to the printer this past Friday. Today we launched Tatsumi, the Serpent Mistress #1. Think Pirates of the Caribbean and One Piece mixed with your favorite martial arts heroine. So Onrie, it's probably right up your alley. But I do have to say, Joe, as a steampunk personality, also known as Top Hat Matt, when I do conventions and things like that, Lady Mechanica was the first steampunk comic that I saw, and it was a big inspiration for me as I was developing Heirs of Isildur. So it's really cool to be on a live stream with you, good sir.
Good being with you. Sorry. Yeah, it's good to be here.
Excellent. All right, so we got a good crew here. Lots of good people here. So I guess, how do you guys want to do this? You want to just show off your screens and kind of walk through your campaigns? Or should I ask like a general question, then everybody can kind of take their chance to answer? Like, what do you guys? I haven't really planned anything out. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm on the last like 3 days of my campaign. I may not look it, but I am freaking out right now because for every time I keep pushing the campaign, I seem to be losing a backer or two. And it's like I'm like making 2 steps forward and then 1 step back. So I have no idea. We all just kind of assembled here. How do you guys want to do this? We can all argue about how we want to do this and just kind of like
we could vote.
Onrie, I think Onrie, you should start showing us your campaign real quick, man. You're the one that put it together. You're the one that's got the least amount of time left. Show your campaign off, dude.
Matt, thank you very much. Okay, let's do that then. All right, I will share my my screen here. Hopefully, I'm not sharing anything that's inappropriate.
If you are, we'll skip
over. This is all my banking information.
Are we allowed to? No, we're not allowed to show boobs. We can't even say the W word on here. Do you guys know what the W word is?
What, wanker?
Wiener.
Oh.
How to say it. I mean, you can say wiener, but you just can't say it like a lot, You can only say it like...
Well, we said it twice. How many times can we say it?
You can only say wiener like 3 times. If you say wiener more than 3 times...
That's literally the 4th time.
One suddenly appears like Beetlejuice.
The wiener police will come out and... Okay, all right. So I guess we'll start with mine then here. We got Warline. We are at the 75% funding point. So I have 3 days left to raise just a little over $1,100 here. And as you guys can imagine, I'm kind of I'm on pins and needles right now. We've had I don't know what it is about this campaign that's been so challenging, but we've had, I just did a count. We've had over $400 of people who have backed out their pledges, which, you know, I don't know what's going on right now, but it's understandable. But anyway, well, looks like we just, someone just raised a little bit, so I appreciate that. But let's take a look at the campaign. Let's focus on the positive. Let's not get stuck on the negative. So Warline is about an old vigilante that teams up with his daughter to go after the tyrant that destroyed their lives and now controls their city. And that's this guy right here, the overseer. And it's a 3-issue miniseries. Each book is double-sized. And we are in the final days of the campaign. And the whole point of this campaign is to fund the printing of this 3rd issue here. And we just got pictures today from our printer in South Korea. They have printed the book. It looks absolutely gorgeous in photos. They're going to be sending me 300 copies in advance, which means that I'll be able to get going on fulfillment pretty quickly. So we're looking at a pretty speedy turnaround time here. And this campaign is aimed at getting the whole complete series. So if you're new to Warline, this is a great chance to jump on. If you get all 3 issues, it's $30. And if you're located within the United States, you get free shipping on your order, plus you get the digital copies. And we've also unlocked some really cool stretch goals as well. We unlocked a stretch goal where you get these really cool sketch cards, which this is the original, but I'm going to hook you guys up with a print of these cool sketch cards here. And every physical copy backer gets one of these. Another thing that we just unlocked that I'll be handling tomorrow is a raffle for an issue of Tales from the Crypt that I worked on a number of years ago. Can't seem to find the book right now, but we're going to be raffling that off tomorrow. So every physical backer is automatically entered. We got some really cool rewards here. We still have our early bird where you can get the A cover for issue 3, as well as these limited edition variants here. The first one is done by Chris Madd, and this is just a really beautiful cover. I'm really happy with it. And we got one that was done by Kanan White and colored by Adriana De Los Santos, who works on Yusung Chin. And then we have the final one that's drawn by Stan Yak and colored by Robert Nugent, who is currently working on Spawn. And there's some other cool exclusives we have here. We have an embossed cover for version of issue 3 that we released for C2E2. There were only 5 of these left, and it comes triple signed by myself, April Reyna, the artist, and JT Malloy, the colorist. And then we have this Frank Guzan variant, which is a tribute to the Frank Miller Wolverine cover. And we got some CGCs, and we also have original art. Now, if we could sell this original art, that'll put us over the mark. And tomorrow I'm going to be offering a Hail Mary. But if anybody wants to just own one piece of original art, you can jump on and do that. Each piece is going to go for $200 and will be shipped to you from the Philippines. So I'll receive it. I'll pack up your order with all the Warline stuff. It includes all 3 issues signed by me, and I will ship it to you. And you also get digital copies as well. And then we have stretch goals. If we can hit funding, everybody gets a button. If we hit $5,000, everybody gets a bookmark. And if we hit $6,000, I don't know how likely that is, but why the heck not? Let's shoot for the stars. We're only $2,500 away now. If we can do that, then I'm going to make these custom comic book boards, like when you bag and board your book, I'm going to make custom Warline boards for you guys, and every physical backer will get that. And that is my campaign. And it looks like we got a backer here, or someone increased their pledge, which I really appreciate. So that put us back to 34.26. So we're like a little over $1,000 before we fund, and we have 3 days to go. So I'm pretty confident here. And yeah, let's take it on to the next person here. We got Eddie in the house, Kenny in the house. What's up, guys? How you doing? All right, so how about we bring let's do Mr. Fish. Let's get Fishley in here. How about Fish, you can share your campaign and talk to us about it.
Alrighty, good. Just had everything drop out on me on my end, and it just came back, so I'm glad I can see what's going on now. All right, this is Alice Lost in Wonderland. This is my baby. This is the story that I have been working on for 30 years. this is the whole reason I got into doing indie comics, was so I could tell this story. And in it, Alice has been lost in this interdimensional rift called Wonderland for her entire life, and she's grown into this super dangerous bounty hunter, and her and the Tin Man hunt the things that go bump in the night in Wonderland. And this is every public domain character that you've ever heard of, like Neverland, Oz, all this stuff, is all crashed together in this one place. And every weird character is an alien or robot or something from another dimension. And she gets bound in by this blood contract with this interdimensional deal broker in the first issue, the Cobbler. And now she has to hunt down her adopted dad, the White Rabbit that brought her to Wonderland in the first place. He was trying to save her as a kid, as this army was chasing him. So he runs off with her. By the time he saves her life and beats the bad guys, he can't figure out how to get her back home. So he takes her to Wonderland and tries to do the best he can raising her. Doesn't do that great of a job. And she kind of grows up to hate him. And now she's bound by this contract to hunt him down and deliver him to the Queen of Hearts, who has just so happened to promise to kill her and Big Ten, the Tin Man, on sight if she ever sees him again. So how's she going to complete this? How's she going to catch him? How's she going to deliver him and not get killed herself? That's where the adventure begins in this awesome action-packed, timey-wimey, time travel, multiversal story. But really, when it comes down to it, at its core, it's a story about like who we are at different points in our life and how you can be different people to different things to different people, how you can try your best not to make the mistakes your parents made and still like have your kids grow up to hate you. And so there's a real heart to the story. Like, it started as just a power fantasy when I was younger about, what if you could go anywhere and do anything and nobody could stop you. But now it's really, about the depth and breadth of who we are over our lifetimes, and, what it's like to try and be the best you can to somebody, and they still kind of might grow up to hate you and want to get you. We unlocked this awesome 2.25-inch button magnet as a pre-launch gift with our pre-launch backers, and so every physical backer is going to get that along with their books and everything. Like Onrie said, domestic shipping is included. And with our first milestone goal, we unlocked the sticker of Alice's head. And for every 50 backers we get, we're unlocking another sticker that's going to go out for every physical backer. And then we've got stretch goals ready to go as soon as we get there. We're getting pretty close to goals, so I'm hoping we might hit the first one and unlock some cool add-ons that are available for everybody. Since I did the first campaign for Alice on Backer Kit as part of Comictopia, this one is really this one's on Kickstarter. I was surprised how many of my regular Kickstarter backers didn't go over to Comictopia on Backer Kit. So it's aimed at letting them have a place to catch up. And there's the digital tier, there's the physical tier, shipping included. We have a deluxe digital tier that not only has the digital comics and desktop wallpapers and phone wallpapers, but it also has audio read-along files for people. Like, I know I have a lot of fans that are dyslexic, and I got one guy that buys everything and keeps telling me, like, man, I've looked at your book so many times. I haven't read it yet, but I've looked at it like 6 times. And I'm like, why not put something in to make it easier for a lot of my friends to be able to follow along? So there's audio file, and you get like the digital STL files for the Alice and Big Ten miniatures for D&D. We've got the t-shirts, the whole 9 yards, ready to go. I've had to upgrade to doing bigger custom boxes now for shipping out like the whole library and stuff, because there's no way to pack all those books into a Gemini mailer anymore. So I'm having to up my game on that part. But we've got all kinds of cool tiers, all kinds of cool add-ons. We have a new acrylic figure coming out this time with Rabbit and Alice when she's young. We've got the D&D minis. You can get them STL files, or you can get actual 3D resin prints we'll ship out to you. There's the delayed shipping option, all the back issues. We've even got custom digital commissions, pinups, and actual physical commissions. So I'll do 11 by 17 line art drawing of whatever you want. So you want it, we got it. Go check it out. GoMrFish.com.
Fish, I just want to say, man, this is such a beautiful, tight, clean campaign. And I remember we were talking about Alice right before you were getting ready to launch this series, and we were just having a talk about how you were going to get this out there. And this has been kind of a dream project for you. And, seeing you get to this point now where you have these 2 issues out is really impressive. And on top of that, I just want to say I've backed previous campaigns from you. And one thing I just want to point out about everybody who is here tonight, I have backed campaigns from every single person in this room right now, and they all deliver. And everybody always comes in with really nice packages. But Mr. Fish, I really love what you did last time. You hooked me up with a print. It was signed. Everything came clean. There was so much great stuff, and I just want to let you know how much I appreciate that. Keep doing the good work, dude.
I'm really studying as much as I have studied like storytelling over the years. I am studying now what really impresses me from other Kickstarters. And like you, like I back a lot of Kickstarters mostly to study what other people are doing and how they're doing it. And like when somebody impresses me with something, I study how they did that and what they did so that I can like mimic that success. And like there are some books that come like, and when the package comes, I get excited because I can tell from that custom tape that it's like from Charlie McElvey and it's a Spider Squirrel book. And I get excited because I'm going to dig that book. And I want people to have that experience when they get my stuff. I want them to see that box and say, oh, this is from Mr. Fish. I can't wait to check it out. And I want like the opening the box to be a pleasant experience. I want you to enjoy the book, the whole 9 yards, trying to make it as great as I can because I really appreciate it. This is my dream job, and I'm getting to make a living, pay my mortgage, feed my kids, drawing the stories that I dearly love and I've been working on my whole life. Like, this is the dream. I could not be happier.
That is awesome, man. Keep it up, dude. You're working really hard, and everybody sees it. The effort's paying off.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
All right, let's move on to Mr. Dan Price.
What's going on, y'all? Hold on, let me get my little screen here set up. All right, here we go. Y'all see that?
Just a second.
It's loading.
Yes, we can.
There we go.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, this is my book, Bigfoot Knows Karate. I co-write this with Casey Allen out of Birmingham, Alabama. Great guy, great writer. We have been working on this book for a couple of years now. We've got this is our 4th issue, chapter 3, but it's our 4th issue because we did do a prequel book called Inagon that came out last year. Bigfoot Knows Karate is the story of a gentle yet deadly cryptid warrior who is being hunted down by a mysterious agency for nefarious purposes. And when we meet up with him in chapter 3, he is on the run. He has met up with a couple of partners along the way, including this bunny that has been tagging along with him since issue 1. But to say it's Godzilla versus Kong meets Kill Bill with the twist of X-Files is pretty much on the nose. In the first issue, he's forced to fight Cthulhu, or as we call him, Kung Fu Thulu, in the Ultimate Monster Showdown. We did, in the current issue and last issue, we introduced a Chupacabra with a shotgun that just knocks your socks off. Just a great character. And but there's a lot more going on with it. There's a big meta narrative that's happening through it, a big twist at the end of issue 1 that sets us up with where we're going. These are some of the covers from the book. This is my regular edition cover right here, our Virgin variant by Adam Caswell. This was a wonderful piece by Ghost Hausa that we're using for a deluxe edition cover. And then our holofoil by Luis Thomas, who is an amazing artist in his own right. So it's been fantastic. A couple of pages from the book right here, just to kind of give you an idea of the story, the style that we're trying to tell. I'm the artist on the project and just having such a good time doing it. You can see this is a Mothman character right here. His name is Eskrid. He's a seer through time and space, but can't see 2 feet in front of him because he's blind. It's funny how that works. But yeah, no, it's been a fantastic campaign so far. We've been really fortunate and funded rather quickly, and and so now it's just it's a matter of keep on going. This is a previously on. We did a previously on for this, so you can kind of see some of the pages from the previous book, yeah, I mean, we got some good stuff here. It's not a lot of extras on the campaign. We're pretty much just comics this go around. But let me show you all some of the stuff that we've got from going on in the campaign itself. So you have the different covers. When we do regular editions and deluxe editions with the comic, regular editions are just the story. The deluxe editions, do y'all remember like special features on DVDs? I was a big fan of that, and so. If in our deluxe editions, we've received over 250 pieces of fan art for the comic, which has been just amazing. So I always make sure to put an art gallery in the back of each of the deluxe editions. And then do you remember director's commentaries on DVDs? If you click on the QR code in the back of our deluxe edition, it takes you to a director's commentary video that goes along with the comic. So you can listen to a bunch of talking heads discuss the book, why we did what we did, where we're going with it, things like that. So just a little extra, something different that we can add on into the book. So we go ahead. Oh, I thought I heard something.
There was just a little bit of echo because Onrie's on his phone too. I was muting it. Sorry about that.
No worries. No worries. So we have the digital editions, the digital catch-up, regular editions, deluxe editions. Also, we're doing a homebrew. So I'm a part of Homebrewed Comics, and so we're doing a something special. If you were a fan of Image Comics in the early 90s, y'all might remember when they did Image Comics 0. So what we're doing is we're doing something similar. If you back, let me come over here to that. So if you back all three of the campaigns that we have currently going, Crit by Chris Sahloff, that's got about a week and a half left. My campaign for Bigfoot Knows Karate Chapter 3, and then the upcoming campaign for the Celestial Knight versus Caspian Porter. If you back all three of these books, you get a coupon that goes in that gives you a 3-digit code. When you get all when you get all of the coupons, you can go ahead and put all 9 digits into our website, and you can purchase a special limited edition holofoil book called Homebrewed 0 that has 5 original stories and that's 6 pages each. That are it's going to be content completely and wholly for this limited edition. So that's been cool that we're doing that with all the Homebrew Comics stuff. But yeah, check out the campaign. You can get different variants of the book. You can get all the back issues. You can even get a championship belt. So a Bigfoot Knows Karate championship belt, and with all the books as well, and all that signed as well. So check it out. Like I said, Godzilla versus Kong meets Kill Bill with a twist of X-Files. How can you go wrong with something like that?
Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I got. I can say more, but I don't. I think that kind of does it, right? There you go.
All right, Jay, I'm back. Can everybody see me or hear me?
We
I
can
don't
hear
think
you.
your camera's on.
Hear me? Yeah. Okay. Cool. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to multitask here, and it's not working out. But anyway, Dan, great work. I heard everything. Let's move on to Aaron. Aaron, go ahead.
Okay. Share screen. Can everyone see it?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Enenra is a apocalyptic horror, both pre and post, where the first part of each issue is a glimpse into the future, where it's apocalyptic. We have creatures, mutated monsters, and you follow Survivor and his trusted companion Sam as they go through a very changed London. And then the kind of the main body of each issue is the present, and it shows the journey of how we get there, following a team of doctors as they try and understand and try and stop the virus pandemic. As you can see, the artwork is done by Ezekiel, and he's phenomenal. He's done my Blood and Fire, Ice and Bone series. Same artist, so he's doing an incredible job. This is my first series. This is what I started with. We're on to issue 7. Yeah, this issue 7 is 32 pages. This is going to be really action-packed. We have a Chinese Spec Ops team on board, a freighter who are trying to investigate why it went dark, and all hell breaks loose. So I can't wait to show everybody. It's going to kick ass. We have a couple of variant covers. So that's the main cover, retail. That's the freighter that the Spec Ops are about to land on. We have a variant cover where you can color yourself if you really want to test your skills. And this is the main cover. We have another one from Gambit.
Beautiful looking book.
Yeah, and then we have a feature from a good friend of mine who is a member of a Aberdeen rock and roll band in Scotland. We did a similar thing on the last campaign for issue 6, where all backers got a MP3 of one of the tracks. This originally was supposed to be a stretch goal, but the last campaign funded in the last 30 seconds of the campaign. A bit heart-wrenching, but we got there. So this one is...
Dude, how do you do this? Like, seriously, I think this is like you just keep going back, and you fund within like moments, and then it's like the next day he launches another campaign, and he's got that same charming smile on his face every single time. I am in awe of your calm throughout all of this. It is amazing, dude. And here's the thing I'm going to tell you guys. I have read Aaron's work. Fire and Blood and Fire is a really gorgeous series, and if you're into Yi Sun Shin, you're really gonna love this series. It's great, and Ice and Bone is fantastic too. I mean, you're just doing it, dude, and it doesn't matter what happens. You're just relentless on this, and I love it. You got 7 issues out already. That's a feat right there, you know.
Yeah, this is a 16 issue complete storyline. I do have kind of not spin-offs, because this originally was supposed to be a TV series. And though it didn't really get any traction as a series, because I missed a nobody, one of the agents actually said it would make a kick-ass graphic novel. And fortunately, Ezekiel was on her books, so we kind of hit it off really well. And then the first issue took so long to make was because he was drawing off a TV script. So I revamped everything, made it a bit more streamlined, and he does each issue complete and sends me every page. The last Ice and Bone, he sent the whole book, and I didn't change a damn thing. It was perfect. So I literally get to read it with the readers. I get the whole book, and so I can go through each and like get wowed.
So, Aaron, how do you feel about, realizing that graphic novels is the way to go? Like, do you feel more comfortable in this state? Are you hopeful that if the comic picks up traction, you'll be able to see that TV vision come true?
I'm hoping, because it's a damn sight quicker and easier and a lot cheaper to make a comic than it is a TV series. So if it gets the traction I'm hoping, and I get the trade covers out and it does really well, then I'm hoping to maybe pitch it again and revisit turning it into a TV show. But you never know; it could happen. I'm always hopeful.
Absolutely. Well, with your tenacity and your go-getter attitude and that charm, that Scottish charm, I have a feeling you're going to make it happen, sir.
I'm hopeful. You never know. You know, with my accent, I do sound smarter than I am.
Yeah, I wish I had that same effect.
I'm stuck with my Midwestern Chicago accent, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, like most of the Bond villains are usually British. You know, all villains seem to be British for some reason. I don't know why.
The whole empire, yeah.
Yeah,
and pretty much half of the comic book industry too. That the legendary comic book creators, they're all British too.
Yeah.
All right.
I did want to kind of. I just didn't want to kind of highlight some tiers. The be in the panel. You also get a copy of the book, and you get a chance to if you wanted to get printed copies of the page, you can do. And the same to be in the comic as a character. You can be some mutated humans who get killed by some spec ops, and also you can actually be in the cover of issue 8.
That is awesome. That's excellent. Are you? Is there anything else you'd like to add before we move on?
No, that's it, mate. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Okay, cool. All right, Stephan, you're up.
All right, let me share my screen. Let's see what happens.
We got Chris here too. Chris, what's up, dude?
How much are you guys doing?
Good. And just so you guys know, the reason why things got weird on my front, I haven't had a chance to walk Bentley all day, and he was just staring at me and letting me know with those puppy dog eyes that he needed to go out and get some exercise. So we're walking and talking as we're doing this. But if you guys could do me a favor, even if you're not in a position to back these campaigns, which I assume you guys are always coming to my shows and picking up books anyway. It'd really mean a lot if we could get these guys at least 1 or 2 backers tonight, each of them. That would be really amazing. Take your comic book budget with me for the week. I'm not doing a single sales show, and spread the love. Support Mr. Fish, support Dan Price, support Aaron. Aaron is seriously such an inspiration to me. The way this guy just keeps going at it. And Stephan too. Stephan is fantastic. I'm going to shut up now and let the man talk.
Well,
so Stephan, take it away.
No, thanks. I was just going to add, and tell your friends too, because that's also super, super valuable, spread we're all working.
I forgot that part.
Yeah, because this is indie stuff. So as you know, we don't have the big platform that, So I kind of wonder what would happen if I just played that video. And I'm going to try. If it's horrible, I'll stop. Let's see. Oh, no. Then I would have to click on here. Can you guys hear the sound?
We're good. Don't worry about it. Yep. That is awesome. And so many wonderful blurbs from some of the biggest names in comics. That's awesome.
That's super humbling. When I branched off from animation to also into comics, which I did since I was a kid. I was always doing both, but then at some point, job opportunities happen and you just go in that direction. And so then 15 years later, then I'm like, oh, hey, don't forget, I wanted to do comics also, and then you don't know, then you feel like, hey, it's a new world, new space, new group of people. Do I have a home here? And that just like how welcome I felt just coming into comics. That was 15 years ago now at this point, but was just amazing. So there's basically 2 titles that we're doing with this campaign. The first one is Romance in the Age of the Space God. That's a weird one. I like to call it like a weird comic for and about weird times. It's something that kind of came about during the pandemic, and I just, because so it's part sci-fi thriller, part dystopian kind of thriller. There's a lot of slice of life in it, because everything I do is slice of life. There's some space stuff, there's slice of life. So here we go, but the thriller aspect, whatever. And it's all done with little mice, just because these times are so weird. So basically, we're in this world where you don't know why, you don't know how, but this thing happens in the sky that was found in orbit around Saturn, and now you don't know how. Now it's around the Earth, and it's got this property that you can see it from anywhere in the world. It looks the same, like it's always above you. And like the first line, I think that this is the first page in the book actually, where Nate, one of the main characters, kind of says, that watching superhero movie, the thing that didn't ring true to him was that giant kind of reality shattering, world changing events happen, and people carry on and just as if nothing had happened, and that didn't ring true to him. Except he says, and I stand corrected. And so that's how I felt since pretty much since 9/11 all the way back, but literally since COVID and since everything that's happening in the country, in the world, things you didn't think would happen in your lifetime are now happening, and yet, so the world is broken, and yet people need to live. People need to have ambition, need to fall in love, to have purpose, and find their place in this broken world, And so that's kind of to me, the central question of our times. And it's also, and that's, of course, that's what's happening with these characters who, again, it's this slice of life, really fun, kind of thrillery story. And they happen to be connected to this cosmic, conspiracy, right? So as people do or are, but so that's the essence of the book. And the thing that's really also unique with this format is that usually I do a long series, like Silver was like 4 trades, like 500 pages, Palomino will be 650 pages when it's all said and done, but this is like a short story where you open a window on a big world, and you just get this kind of contact high of story, and you just get a sense of that world, and the point is made, and then you close that window, and will you revisit it or not? Who knows? But it's this kind of open-ended short story that completely works on its own merit, but at the same time gives you this window on a giant world that you could also explore. That's going to live. Yeah, go ahead.
Stephan, the one thing I wanted to say that really caught my attention when you initially did the pitch for this book, and I picked up the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive that you did last year for it.
Right.
Given that you're also of Jewish roots too, you've gone through and seen things that a lot of people haven't. So I think that there's a lot of perspective here. Like, your family has undergone, difficult times and has come out of it and persevered. And it's just really interesting to see how you're using that to inspire you to create something new and fascinating. And, for me, it's just, it's exactly like what you pitched it. It's like, I have this book at home, guys, and it's absolutely stunning. It literally is like, you just open up this book and you're just like brought into this world, and it's amazing.
Well, thanks so much, man. I'll pick up what you said. My mom passed away a couple of years ago, but was a Holocaust survivor, and she saw that stuff as a child, and and lived her entire life feeling like she had survived it, and as they said, the arc of history was bending in the right direction, and is it? so this and this is something that I think for anyone who has kids right now, and I think Mr. Fish was mentioning kids earlier. You raise your kids these days to and my kids are grown and they're all kick-ass and everything, so but you kind of raise them to have agency and be their own people and kind of follow their dreams in the world. You don't raise them to use those qualities to become like Sarah Connor. You know what I'm saying? That's not what anyone wants for their kids. So finding your purpose in the world that is problematic is, I think, the central question for especially for anyone, but especially if you're on the younger side, you still have a whole life to live, and you're gonna have to make it count because it may be the only one you have. And but at the same time, there's a world around you. So
it's interesting that you say that, because you and I have had conversations about your daughter, and she actually works for Ryan Johnson. And the way you described her, she's a big inspiration for what you've done in Palomino. And like, you talk about her as if, like, the way you describe her to me, she pretty much is like this creative Sarah Connor.
Well, yes. I mean, I have two daughters and a son, and they're all pretty. They engage with the world. They're not. They're living their own adventures, and they're pretty amazing. So, which as a of course, as a parent, is what you want for your kids. That's all we want for our kids, is for them to exist in the world and live full lives into the world. That's it. So awesome. I don't want to talk too long because I know there's a lot of us. So I'll just continue with Palomino, which is so Palomino. We're on volume 4 and 5. And 1, 2, 3, so are already out, but people can also get them from this campaign. All the books are available from this campaign. Even the Silver series that we're doing with Abraham Comic Arts now, you can still get it through the campaign. Palomino is a neo-noir kind of crime mystery that takes place starts in 1981 with the original books. And we follow this guy who's like a musician by night, private detective by day, kind of old school, hard-boiled kind of guy. And his teenage daughter, who's even more of a hard-ass than he is. And the two of them are really hilarious. And all the sort of mysteries that they're involved in are all inspired by real-life true crimes from LA history. So it's a really fun, it's a very grounded book. A lot of it comes from my own sort of experience as a musician, for years, I'm playing in a lot of clubs. And the Palomino, if people don't know, was an actual legendary music venue here in LA that closed in 1995. And that's the year that I arrived in LA. So I never worked there, but I became friends and worked with all those musicians at other clubs in the years, through the years after that. So and also the club life and the music life is something that I know really well. And I always thought it would be an incredible backdrop, for a neo-noir crime story, because we've seen LA in many different ways. We've seen the LA of Chinatown and To Live and Die in LA, and we've seen the LA, like the Deep Valley LA of like Every Which Way But Loose. But we've never seen those two things together, And so Palomino, it's that, and then there's a lot of layers to it, people who worked in clubs like that, who were in the house band, like 30 in the 80s, in the high time of the clubs. Those people would work 5 days a night, or 6 nights a week in the house band, and would be enough to have a good middle class life in LA. Buy a house, raise a family, and stuff like that. And so none of that exists anymore. And so there's also under this like an examination of the working musician as the canary in the coal mine for what happened to the American middle class in the last 40 years. So that's the first 3 books. And then you get to the new books, and now we have a time jump to 1995. So we go from the Reagan Revolution to the digital revolution. And now the teenage daughter, who was, of course, second fiddle in the first half of the series, now she's 29. Now she has the agency of adulthood, and she picks up the cold case that her dad couldn't quite solve, and she's going to finish that story.
That's awesome. That is fantastic. And the thing I love so much is that, I mean, we got a few guys in here, Mr. Fish, who illustrates and draws. Dan Price also illustrates and draws too. You're doing all of this yourself, moonlighting this in every which way while working in Hollywood, which has got to be super demanding. And it's really amazing to just see how much content you've put out there and how much has been praised by people that are bigwigs in the comics game. I mean, it's really amazing work, Stephan.
Thank you. Yeah, it's on the Hollywood side, if you will. Sometimes I get to draw, sometimes I get to write, but it's hard to. There's no project where you can get to do everything because it's not the nature of the beast. So for me to have this sort of other side where I don't have to ask for permission for anything, I don't need to convince anyone to try something before we try it. You know what I mean? So that brings balance. I'd be frustrated if I only had one side of the equation.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to add to the campaign before we move on to our next?
No, we're good. I'm just. Oh yes, I'll just say this. People always ask for commissions, and I never have the time to do commissions. The only time that I ever get to do it is. Let me see if I can find it. When I do those campaigns. So I'm just gonna. And just today we. And I kind of effed it up, with the rollout. Let me see, because it was I'll tell you a story why later. But the point is, because I worked on the Iron Giant, people always ask me for Iron Giant commissions, so it comes back like every 2 out of 3 commissions I ever get is Iron Giant, But so we just unleashed the commission tier today, and so there you go.
That's awesome. That is really awesome. So, guys, just so you know, Stephan worked on the Iron Giant, and he's willing to do commissions for the backers that are willing to come on and, jump in big with his campaign. So pay attention to that. This is a big deal.
Anything not Iron Giant is greatly appreciated, but I'm just showing this because people always ask for Iron Giant. So I would just say, since I have my screen up and I know Joe.
The Flash. Wait. Will you do the Flash for anybody who wants Flash commissions?
Dude, I will. I've been known to do some Flash. I think I've done a couple of Flash.
There's a running Flash joke on the show because there was a period where I came across like a bunch of Flash books and like no one wanted these books, and I kept pitching them, and like everybody just kept messing up. And eventually we found someone who picked up a bunch of Flash books. So anybody who's a big Flash fan, I know you're all out there watching the show right now. You're all clamoring to your screens. Stephan will draw you the Flash.
I'll draw the Flash. It'll be a nice change for me. I was just going to say, if you want to move on to Joe, just because I have his page up on my screen, Joe, if that works for you, because I know you're on the phone. Do you want me to do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Dude, Stephan, thank you. I was just gonna ask if someone could do that. Joe, go ahead, take it away, sir.
Hold on.
Hey, Joe, thank you also for being here.
Oh, wait. Before you do that, I think I need to reset my. Okay, sorry. I need to reshare differently because it's okay. Hold on.
In the meantime, guys, if you are watching this right now, be sure to check out every single campaign. Jay is providing links in the comments. I am commenting today too, so I am in the audience with you guys. Please support these Kickstarter campaigns. Help these guys out. They're spending a lot of time tonight when they could be out, partying and celebrating all their successful campaigns. They're here with us, telling us about their work. So give them some love. Joe, take it away, sir.
All right. Well, this is Lady Mechanica, the Mechanical Menagerie. It's part 1. It actually it's a 48-page book. It's got part 1 and 2 actually of the new story arc. It's written by Madeline Holly Rosing and colored by Sabine Rich, and the art's done by me and Martin Montiel. He's been my background artist for a while, but it's like he's just pretty kick-ass. I mean, I'm really lucky that I have top-notch talent working with me, and yeah, it's like we've hit 70,000 today, so we opened the trading card, and yeah, I mean, the story basically takes place. The two of the kids in the book find out about this mysterious abandoned park with automatons that used to be around, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And they go investigate and stuff happens. And at the same time, Mechanica is tracking down the Grim Reapers. They're these mercenary bounty hunters that we saw back in volume 5, I think, where it's like so she's got a bone to pick with them. So she Inspector Singh right there, nice looking gentleman, finds out where they're at. So they take a ride and go track down these individuals.
Dude, the art in this is sick. It is so good. This
Thank you.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah, this is so good.
Yeah, it's like I take a little too long on stuff. It's not necessarily because it takes me long to draw. It's just that I procrastinate like no one's business. And
I can relate. I can relate.
Yeah, it's like sometimes it's just like the day just flies by and I don't get anything done. But yeah. Let me see if I can, I guess, show the covers that we've done. Yeah, that's a little preview of the books. The story. And the girls go in, and then the next page is you see the mechanical creatures all rusted up. And that first cover, that's Martin Montiel and me.
Wait. Here it is. This is good here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
that is gorgeous cover.
Yeah, it's like I laid it out, and I suggested to Martin to just do like one side of the gears, and we can always flip it. But the guy goes in and does the whole thing. And I mean, if you get a chance to look at it, it's like it's so incredibly detailed, and that guy is just a monster. Like he just puts so much detail into the work.
It's amazing. It is really just a tremendous body of work. I mean, the covers are one thing, but like the interiors I just saw, man, like this is really sick.
Thank you. Yeah, the previous cover, we're calling it the Reaper cover. That's my art with Sabine Rich colors. The next one is a connecting cover. That's Beth Sotelo, and I did the art on this one as well. And then what's the next one? Oh, the Ringmaster. Again, Beth Sotelo and me. Wanted to do something fun. It's like when it comes to variants, I always try to do some offbeat looking, just dress up Mechanica and something interesting. And then we got Sabine Rich. That's a beautiful watercolor cover that she did. That's all 100% her.
Mm.
And this is Raymond Gay. He's an incredible talent. He actually does Spawn covers and other variants. And, I was lucky enough to catch him, and he did this one for me. And we talked about him possibly doing another one for the next campaign that we do after this one. So, yeah, and the colorist is Mike Garcia. And, yeah.
Yeah, K-pop is mentioning how good of a fit Madeline is for this.
Oh yeah.
She is all steampunk and she's super talented. So if you guys are fans of Boston Metaphysical Society, another book that's sold out on Kickin It. We recently sold the graphic novel sets. That same author is working on Lady Mechanica right now. So
Yep.
back this campaign, and this is a big deal, guys. This is a $70,000 campaign, which means it's got a fan base, and you get to be a part of something really special and get on some of these really awesome covers. I'm going to jump on this campaign too pretty soon, and I hope you guys will join Joe and his team as they bring this to life.
Yeah, that last one. It's like obviously I'm a kid from the '80s, so it's like I had the chance to do a GI Joe homage cover. And actually, a couple of sculptors saw this and they hit me up, and we're actually going to talk about possibly recreating that in an actual action figure. So we'll see if that turns up, if that works out.
Cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome, man.
And yeah, that's shirts great. And yeah, I mean it's just like we try to give as much I try to do as many interesting looking variants and just make it fun. We threw in a bookmark and a bottle opener, and yeah, it's like we're just again, it's like this helps pay the art team, because it's like it's not I can't I want to make sure that the writer and the guest artist and anybody else is fully financially full, and then it's like then we can get this book out to retailers afterwards.
I think that's another important point you bring up, Joe, that I think applies to all of us, is that we're not on Kickstarter because we're trying to pay our bills. We're trying to pay the bills that are necessary to bring our projects to life. So whether it's your print costs or your production costs or both, all of these things come from your backing, your support. So please take that into consideration. The more you guys support all of these wonderful creators, the more we can all do with our projects, the more we can bring you, the more we can do.
Yeah, it's like I mean, the plan's always been on my end is to develop an IP and maybe do the introduction and then hand it over to a different art team. But I haven't been able to do that because Mechanica pretty much keeps me busy, and it pays a bill. People seem to like her, so we have a lot of story to tell, and as long as they keep supporting us, we'll keep putting them out.
That's awesome. That is so well said. And I'll tell you guys right now, I've been on the convention scene for 16 years now, and Lady Mechanica has always had a really strong presence at conventions. I've seen it everywhere. This is a great series. It's been around the block.
Yeah, it's like one of the stories I tell. It's like it never fails. At every show that we do, we always get at least one person who comes in with a story about how someone in their family, usually a female, sister, mother, girlfriend, wife, that they're not into comics at all. And it's like, but this book seems to resonate with them. And this is kind of like, it gets them in. Like, there was a story
it's the gateway drug.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, it's just like I tell the story that at a con, this woman came up dressed like Emma Frost, and she comes up and she goes, "Look at me, it's like this is your fault." And I go, "What did I do?" And she said that her roommate collected comics. She wasn't into comics at all. She didn't really care for them, but she saw Mechanica. She picked it up. At the time, I only had 3 issues, and she wanted more. And so she started raiding his Avengers and his X-Men, and next thing you know, she's cosplaying as Emma Frost. So it's like, yeah, I don't know if that was a good or bad thing for her, but you know, we get a lot of testimonials like that, and it's just, we just want to get more people, want to get the book in more people's hands, and it's being independent for a while, self-published. It was a very difficult, you know, to get it in there, you know, through Diamond and stuff. It's like they pushed it as best they could, but for some reason, some retailers were just not big on ordering it, and
that seems to be a problem for a lot of us. You know, it's like it honestly feels that on the independent front, going through a distributor to get your book in comic shops is becoming even more of a challenge now. Now that Diamond is going through what they're going through, and so you know, Kickstarter is that much more important of a vessel, and conventions for helping us get our stuff out there, because comic shops don't really have the most comic shops, I want to say, don't have the vehicle to really like move independent stuff, you know. So I mean, there are some that are definitely do, but you know, it is definitely challenging, and you know, it's a hard world to navigate.
No, it's definitely, without Kickstarter, it would be a lot more difficult than to produce the book, because it's like, as much as we love putting it out, the monthlies don't do as well. The trades do better, but the monthlies they're not moving as well as they used to. And so it's like the Kickstarter really helps us out, and helps us financially to take care of all the ins and outs to be able to get these books out.
Absolutely. Well, Joe, did you have anything else you wanted to share with your campaign?
Back it, you know, it's like, yeah. We have a lot of fun stuff on there. Go check it out. See which cover you dig. See what else we have in there. And it's like, you can always go to our website as well and check out our back stock. And we have prints and all, you know, other books that, you know, you can check out and see if you dig it. That's
Awesome.
always been my philosophy. It's like that. I'm not a good salesman. I'm not a good marketing dude. It's like, it's kind of like, I'll put stuff out. If you dig it, cool. If you don't, that's fine. And it's just, I wish I was a little bit more of a showman, a little bit more like a, you know.
You're doing all right. There's something about you, I've got to say, like you're so chill that it's almost like a nice breath of fresh air from the
Oh no,
person, you know.
it's called anxiety.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that I definitely feel, and I definitely got it too, especially when I'm showmanning it up at conventions. There's a lot of times where I get overwhelmed, and because I mean, it's like also you go to these conventions too, and I'm sure you have the same problem. And Stephan, I know you and I have talked about this too. It's like we come to these shows, we bring a ton of inventory with us that you know, I have to pay to ship my inventory, but then you have to pay for the actual space. You have to pay your plane ticket. You have to pay for travel, food, all those things just to do the show, and then hope that you're going to get enough buyers to justify your time being over there and put some money in your pocket. It's extremely stressful.
Yeah, let's also not forget that in this day and age, right? I mean, like 10 years ago, only, you know, independent and micro publishers were doing Kickstarter. Now everybody does Kickstarter. You know,
yes, including the big
names, but every single publisher, you know, does crowdfunding because they realize that that's direct access to the readers. So this is no longer our little secret garden where we can just, you know, no, now you're competing with everyone, just like you are competing if you're at Barnes and Nobles or in the comic shop, you know.
Very good point. Very good point. Well, Joe, thank you for sharing everything with us. We're going to move on to Matt Knowles, and then we're going to do Chris, and then we'll have some time left to kind of keep things open. But Matt, you've been sitting here patiently, so go ahead, brother. You take it away.
All right, so we're super stoked that we just got a release that just launched the Kickstarter for Tatsumi, the Serpent Mistress #1. Let me go and share my screen here and get this thing up. All right, so can you guys see the screen there?
Yes.
All right, so I will play the campaign video because the campaign video is only 90 seconds long. And I actually worked my butt off on this thing last week. I had a computer problem, and within the span of 3 days, did the whole video, wrote the metal music. I'm a metal musician, and we have a whole segment of what we do at Symmetry Creations that also ties back into doing music as well. So I hope you guys dig the video. All right, well, there you go. So that's a campaign video. Hope you guys dug that. So Tatsumi, the Serpent Mistress is a new series for us. It does spin off of our I Am Keto 80-page one-shot graphic novel that's set in the fictional Far East. In this story, you have Tatsumi, who is the main character. She is the last surviving member of the Yamaran Empire. It was taken over and obliterated by the Dark Conquestors and the Soul Rippers. Think of them kind of like vampires, zombies, in that realm, these post-human creatures that gets wiped through and destroyed her entire kingdom. She was the last one that survived, and she is on a path of revenge and retribution and is trying to figure out a way to be able to survive and come up with a plan to combat them. She knows she can't do it on her own. And in this book, we get to totally turn things on its side, because with I Am Keto, it was all in the fictional Far East and all Japanese, South Korean type culture, but all in a fictional way. In this one, she goes out into the Serpent Sea and gets picked up by a pirate ship called the Side Stalker. So she has to figure out how to integrate herself in with these pirates. And the first issue, we get to really explore that. I see that there are some comments that are talking about that we've got the best socks in the biz. One thing we are known for is that we do a lot of socks. I think this campaign has got the 9th and 10th pairs of socks that we've done. If you look on the screen there, you can see we have a couple of shirts, some covers. We have poker chips, and then we have the shirt I'm actually wearing right now is a glow-in-the-dark shirt. We have 2 different pairs of socks in the campaign. I'm going to definitely try not to spend too long talking about all the little nuances and the minutiae in the campaign, just so we can move forward here. But there is the first cover. The main cover is called Savage Warrior by our main art team of Alessandro Ventura and Alan Emanuel. It shows Tatsumi in a fight with the crew of the Side Stalker. This is the cover Fire Mistress. This is by a local artist to me who is very known in the local area for doing fantasy card art, Magic the Gathering, token cards, things like that. This is the very first cover he's actually been able to do for a comic. So we are very privileged to be able to have him along for us. His name is Chris Hirschberger. And then we have our favorite sister duo, Chess and Gwen, who have probably done, I think this is now our 7th time we've collaborated together. This is their cover, Water Mistress. They are actually the writing duo and the artist duo behind the manga series, The Bohemian Trials. So whenever we can get Chess and Gwen involved in our campaign, we are stoked, and we're super happy to get them in here. We have a sketch cover as well, because you got to have a sketch cover. You know what I'm saying? If you run into a Joe Benitez or you run into a Fish Lee, you want to be able to get them to do something on there. You might even want somebody to draw some Iron Giant on a Tatsumi cover. You never know, but you got to have it or they can't draw it. Here's some of the sample pages. We want people to always be able to see what it's going to look like in the issue. That's Tatsumi on the fishing boat sailing out there into the Serpent Sea. She's flashing back to the events that just happened prior when the her entire kingdom, the Yamaran Empire, gets destroyed. Then Tatsumi gets knocked over by a wave, and next thing you know, she wakes up to some mysterious figure, and then it's now multiple mysterious figures over top of her. She comes to, and the next thing you know, all hell's going to break loose, and Tatsumi starts having a 4-on-1 fight with all these pirates. And that's as far as we go on the campaign page with the story, because you need to be able to pick up the issue and be able to see what's going on and where this fight kind of takes her, and the things that happen at that point. How she gets on top of the pirate ship in her fishing boat is a part of the story as well. We also explain why she's called the Serpent Mistress. It's not just two words that we put together and said, hey, this might sound cool. There's actually a good meaning behind it in the story, and we're super stoked to be able to let everybody know that. In there, we get into the characters. I won't get into all the characters now, but you can go to the campaign page and take a look at the different people in the story. Get some history of the lore behind the Dark Conquestors and the Soul Rippers. We have all kinds of tiers that are individual covers, packages. We have tiers we call the Fool's Gold tiers, where you get a cover and then you get a couple of the poker chips. We do have a lot of other stories that we've done. Tales from Nocturnia. We talked about Heirs of Isildur, which is our apocalyptic sci-fi story set in a steampunk world. Misfits Clubhouse, which is all ages. We want to make sure that people have an opportunity to be able to pick all those things up in our campaign. We have metal music. We have collectible colored vinyl. We try to make sure that all those things are either involved in a tier where it makes sense, or we make sure that they're added on. Right before we got onto this live stream, I had somebody asking me to pick up something that wasn't a very easy way to be able to add it onto a tier, and I went in there really quick and threw it on there for him so he could add it on. Early bird incentives, you get a free sticker for the first 40 physical backers, and then also one of the cool things we're doing is if you back in the first 48 hours, we have a couple prototypes of a shirt for this campaign, and the prototypes didn't come out exactly how we wanted, and we actually are going to do a drawing and give away those couple of prototypes I styled that we're not going to actually produce. So you're going to have a super collectible from us. So we're super stoked about that. But I think that's about all that there is to talk about in the campaign. But yeah, like I said, we're really happy about this. If you're a fan of Heirs of Isildur and the way that we approach fantasy, the way we approach developing our characters, and or Tales from Nocturnia and the way we deal with fantasy in that respect, we really think that you're going to like Tatsumi the Serpent Mistress. This is actually something, and I know for us it's weird to say we're only doing this as a comic-sized book at 32 pages. For years, all we've done is stuff with spines, 48, 56 page or graphic novels, and we made the decision we really wanted this to just be a normal comic series because it's easier to get the issues out. We all know how expensive it is to do books when you're not the artist. So we wanted to find a way to get these things out and get them into people's hands as quickly as possible. We already are working on the art. We're halfway through issue 2 already. We're about to start working on the script for issue 3. So we know where we're going with this series, and it's going to be getting there hopefully soon. The other thing I want to say real quick is we do know some things we're going to be adding into the campaign shortly. We have some leather workers, our buddies at GB Leatherworks, that have done a lot of crazy things for us over time. And soon we're going to reveal a couple of items that GB Leatherworks is going to have that are going to be tailored specifically to this campaign.
That's awesome, dude. I just want to let you know, I backed your campaign. So we're doing really well. I think everybody's having a really good night, and I am too. I just want to let you guys know now that the Warlion campaign is now at $3,600, which means we have less than $1,000 left to raise. I hope everybody else is seeing some form of success tonight on here, being on a part of this. And I want to thank you guys all for being here. We got another we got one more creator who's gonna talk about their campaign, and then we have like some time for like Q&A and just hanging out a little bit. So thank you guys for being here, and thank you for being such champions. You guys are just freaking awesome. It is such an honor to be, cohorts with you guys in this business. Chris, what's up, dude?
Oh, not much. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Dude, you're like the handsomest guy in the room right now, man. He reminds me of that one TikTok chef, the guy that was online. He's literally doing food porn online. But this guy does comics. There's no porn in any of it. So
no porn. I promise.
Tell us about your book, dude.
Threw me off a bit there. Thank you. So I am Chris Sahloff. I am the creator, artist, writer, dungeon master of a comic called Crit, Constantly Running into Trouble. It's based off of a homebrewed Dungeons and Dragons campaign set in modern times. It's an Arthurian superhero tale, and I can officially say that because the book that's on Kickstarter right now brings in King Arthur. I've been waiting 5 years to do this. This is the 9th issue in the series. And a lot of people don't know this, but I taught myself how to draw in order to do this because I could not afford an artist. And I was just having some fun with my friends and thought like, hey, this would be cool to draw. And I started off. I sucked pretty bad. My ex-wife reminded me every day that I was not a good artist. And then I said, well, hey, you're awesome. So teach me how. And now 5 years later, 9 books in, really proud of where we've come. And this book funded in 45 minutes. We are $112 away from the next stretch goal, and we got 9 days left. So, I couldn't be happier with the way things have been going. People have been really supportive, and I got Dan up there, part of the Homebrewed Comics crew. I'm sorry I missed the first little part. I've been on this road show of promoting my Kickstarter, and I'm sure he filled everybody in, but Homebrewed Comics does have multiple Kickstarters up right now, and we're doing a Homebrewed Zero this year. So if you back physical for me and for Dan and for our campaign launching in June, you get a little coupon in there, and we're not going to do the image thing where we put like a certain character on the cover and then we bait and switch you with a different character on the inside. We're doing all original content, foil covers, so definitely check it out.
Hold on, Chris. Did you want to share your screen so that we can see your campaign?
I can do that.
I'm sorry, it's like we're all like, we look like the Brady Bunch up here, but I think people would really like to see. And I'm sorry, I should have thought about it. I thought we were gonna quickly segue to that. But if you want to share your screen, that would be great. That was your campaign, dude.
Yeah, here we go.
There we go.
So I'll join in. I'll play the video. I just updated this one today.
So you did all this animation yourself?
The Unreal Engine stuff is actually part of a video game that we're working on right now with a gentleman, and I asked him to put together some stuff to put on the Kickstarter because I really want to show off some of these characters and what they can do. And so I edited the whole video. I did everything else, all the fun, free-use music. But no, I did not animate that. I don't have time to learn Unreal Engine. But
so
there's a video game.
You're not like Stephan. You don't have time to do everything.
No. I wish. It's in the backlog of things I would love to do. But I recently took up Warhammer 40K, so that's not gonna eat away at my
bless your heart.
Yeah, it's like one of the most expensive hobbies and time-consuming hobbies outside of comics. So No, just going to dive into this real quick. And I really appreciate everyone's time. I don't want to drag on, but we are a homebrewed tabletop game. So everything you read in the comic book happens at the table. I record everything. Everything's determined by the dice. If they fail, they fail in the book. If they succeed, it's a big splash page fun thing. There's a lot of original. Every character is original in the fact that they are a real person in real life. So, everything that's said comes out of their mouth, whether they like it or not. I have the receipts to prove it when they argue with me. I'm going to age myself a little bit here and tell you it is like a police academy with superpowers. So, it's a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor. I tell people all the time, imagine you and your friends pretending to be superheroes for 6 hours a month. And that's what Crit is. We played this game for 5 years. I recorded every single game session. And now I'm on, the 9th issue of the book of me actively trying to kill my friends. And in this issue, we bring in King Arthur. We talk about the fact that he was the first superhero. And you're getting a perspective from another character in the book, pretty much talking a lot of trash about Crit and how they are nothing compared to the original hero, which would be King Arthur. And it ties into a lot of other, bits and pieces that we've dropped throughout the books. Now, I know we're on issue 9, but I write and draw every book to like a Saturday morning cartoon. So when you come in, there's a previously on section to kind of get you caught up, and you can dive in. It's got a little blurbs about every single character right on the front page, so you know who's who, what they do, kind of their power set. It's real quick. But it introduces you to the book and the characters, because if you remember correctly, back in the day, we did not have DVR or YouTube, and we couldn't watch everything all at once and binge it. We would pick up wherever we picked up. And that's kind of what I wanted for this series was if you pick it up and you're in the middle of it, you can still enjoy it. You know who the characters are. You kind of know your place and time. And if you enjoy what you read, you can go get the back issues. Real quick, too, if you're new to Crit, I have issue 0 for free on download on our website, homebrewedcomics.com. So it's a 0 investment on your part. You can see if you enjoy the series, enjoy what we're doing, and if you like it, you can come in and you can back it. I have every issue is available on here. You can do the back issues in digital. You can do them in physical, however you want to do that. And this cover right here is our cover A, done by Robert Nix, who has done a lot of work for us. I actually absolutely love his art style. So he has provided this cover. And then Mo Lubison, who is another guy who's been working with me since issue 2. I always have him on here. He's got King Arthur in this beastie form right here, which I absolutely loved. And Matt Weldon did this one. It's a foil. This is a deluxe foil cover. All my deluxe books are in foil and have additional art pages in the back. And then the wraparound by Thiago. Absolutely love this cover. It came out beautiful. I can't wait to see this thing in foil too. This will be my 3rd campaign doing a metal cover. I heard you say you were in a metal band. So was I. And I'm also a 90s kid.
Boom. Love it.
So this will be printed on aluminum. And it is an add-on, so the only tier it's on is on the biggest tier we have, but you can also add this on to any tier that you'd like. And this is done by Lewis Thomas, he's my colorist as well, and he's done some stuff for Dan too. I believe, Dan, you have a cover on your campaign too.
I just want to say that I know Ready Comics does embossed metal. That would be kick-ass as an embossed.
That's actually who metal. I use.
Oh, sweet.
Yep. They are awesome, great to work with, really good on turnaround times, beautiful product.
Yeah.
Love them. And interesting fact, all the Youngblood books that came out this year were printed by them too. Okay. So this year I also remastered issue 1. So went in and recolored it because, when I did issue 1, I didn't know anything about comic books, and there were 3 colorists on the book because I didn't know how to color. Wanted it all to kind of flow with the rest of my book. So I went in, I did the flats, and another artist, Nestor Radula, who does some stuff with me, came in and did the finishes and the shading for me because I was doing 3 things at once, so I needed some help.
Nestor's sick, man. Nestor's a great colorist.
Yeah, he actually colored this cover right here and this one right here. He does a lot of covers for me. I actually was referred to him by Matt Weldon. They do really great work together, and I just shot him a message and said, hey, I know you're busy, but could you help me with this? And we pumped it out in about 3 or 4 weeks, the entire book, and just knocked it out. I did the flats, he did everything else, and it came out beautiful. I relettered some of it too, brought it up to date, so now it really fits in well with my art style and everything else we've done so far. So I'm really happy with how that came out. And I redid the end of issue 5 because I was never really happy with that. And I said, hey, this year we're rebranding and we're doing a lot of stuff with retail. So I want to fix the end of issue 5. I talked to Robert Nix, and he is redoing the last 12 pages because the original guy that did them for me, he had a lot of life stuff going on, and it was a little bit rushed. So we wanted to bring it up to date and get some really popping art. So issue 5 is being remastered and re-released in this campaign too. Both of them are add-ons, and they're both foil covers too. So just a little thing here saying thank you for checking it out, because again, it's a D&D game that we turned into a comic book, and the fact that we've been doing it for 5 years successfully, funded every campaign so far, and people keep coming back still blows our mind. You're making some adult men feel awesome. The fact that people enjoy listening to their banter and all their dumb things they do at a D&D table. It's pretty awesome. Some of my guys have had some of their worst days ever, and someone has done a fan art of their character, and it's just changed their entire day. When I shoot them a picture, oh, someone drew Caliber today, and he's like, man, today was the worst day, but that's freaking awesome. So the fact that just reading these books and enjoying this stuff makes a bigger impact on someone's life is pretty awesome.
Well, one thing I want to say too, you had mentioned that you had an ex-wife that wasn't really supporting what you did, and I know exactly what that feels like, and I'm proud of you, very proud of you for sticking with it and ignoring them, because it can be really discouraging when you're trying to achieve something and do something, and someone is constantly trying to knock you down a peg, and it's usually someone who is really close to you. That hurts, and the fact that you're still moving ahead and doing this is really inspiring, and I think you're doing a great job, dude, and I'm so excited for your campaign, and I definitely want to pick your brain some more on the whole video game side, because I think that's really awesome that you're making this happen.
Thank you. On all fronts, yeah. We're on good terms, and I won't say, but I had put about 3 months into the issue 0 that I never released. I shared some art on my Instagram over the weekend of it, and while it's not the best art in the world, I did put a lot of work into it. And I remember sitting there, we were watching TV, and I handed the tablet to her, and I said, hey, check this out. Now, I preface this by saying she is a phenomenal artist, and her mother is an art teacher, and my daughter is a phenomenal artist too. And so I never really got into art. I can draw some stuff, but I more or less just threw shapes on a page. And she read through the thing and handed it back and turned the TV back on and just said it was okay. Well, the next day I bought an iPad. I got all the software, and I said, well, then teach me. And to her, in her defense, she did do a lot of work, but she would tear everything up. I would draw something, she would erase a leg. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. And it's tough, but I was in a professional band for 6 years, and with art, with music, with anything you do in life, if you come in with an ego and you're afraid to take criticism, you're never going to grow. And I just took it all with stride. I still, to this day, Robert Nix, love him to death. I send him artwork, and he'll tear it apart too and send it back to me. It doesn't hurt my feelings, but it only makes me work harder when someone says, you suck. I'm going to try even harder to prove you wrong. And
I think there's a way to do it. There's not one way. Sometimes you need to hear it. Sometimes you need J.K. Simmons throwing symbols at you. there's a different side to it too, where were you rushing or were you dragging? I mean, that's always been my dad's way of helping me with math homework, which is why I'm not in math and I do comics, which surprisingly I do a lot of math in comics. But I think there's ways. There's such a thing as constructive criticism, and as long as it's constructive and you are getting feedback and it's allowing you to grow, that I think is the most important thing. It's okay to be told that, like, hey, what you got is not good. It could be better, but it's another thing to just tell someone, hey, you suck, and I'm gonna drop my F-bomb. You fucking suck, because it's not true. If you're out there and you're making a comic and you actually get it out there, you've done what 90% of the people on this planet say they wish they could do, but they never will get around to doing it. So that's my opinion. Work can always be improved on, but when you're breaking someone's will, I mean, or just trying to beat them down to like nothing, I think that's I've turned a new road on that. I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I've had a lot of positive input over the years, but there's always going to be someone that wants to bring you down.
Of course.
I remember the review that came out for issue 1. I had a guy that was working with me to promote issue 2 at the time. We were in between books, getting ready to launch the Kickstarter for it. And a review came out for issue 1, and it said the artwork was okay. The story, the first part of the story was what you'd expect from a first issue of a indie comic book, but the ending was a gut punch that just like hit you hard and made you want to come back for more. And that's what I wanted. When we started this, you got to think my friends and I hadn't played D&D for 10 years, and so I kept everything very familiar. And the issue reads just like we played the game. When we hadn't played D&D for a long time, I put together a campaign that was easy to get back into, easy to understand the world around you, and not very unexpected because I wanted them to get comfortable. And so it should read that way. And the art should be okay because I didn't know what I was doing. And the guy was like, man, like, you like that review? And I was like, yeah, he got the ending. The ending was supposed to be a gut punch because my characters don't always roll well, and you don't expect that. You don't expect what happens because they failed every one of their rolls, in the first book. And, we kind of had an argument. I actually wound up not working with him anymore because he didn't appreciate the fact that I liked a review that said not so positive things. I was like, but all that mattered to me was you got the ending, that you want to come back for more because of that. And so, you're never going to win everybody over, but like I said, we're still trucking 5 years later, and there's no stopping anytime soon because I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from Dan. I've learned a lot from the guys that work with me at Homebrewed, and I learned a lot from even the readers that give me feedback. One of the reasons I have some of the stuff in the opening of the book was because a friend of mine picked up issue 2, and he said, hey, I didn't read issue 1, and now I'm a little bit confused. Can you fill me in? And while I'm talking to him, I'm like, I have so much unused space in the beginning of my book. Why don't I do some of this here? And I did that, and people really appreciated it. So, everything in this is a learning process. People can say we're not, what was the comment? Professional, or, we're not real creators, but we are. And, everyone that's in here with their books up there, it says a lot, especially if you're past issue 2, because making comics isn't easy. Mm-hmm. Most indie comic creators don't make it past the second issue because of how hard this stuff can be. So I'm blessed to be here with all you guys. I mean, there's a lot of you guys I've watched from afar. So I feel really awesome to be on here with you guys. So thank you.
Well, we feel the same way. The feeling is mutual. And, I think we're coming close to the end of our show here. We got about another 15 minutes here. And so let's kind of throw this out. If we can get the Brady Bunch view back up, that would be really cool. And I want to throw a question out because I'm now thinking about the whole, thing that Chris was saying about feedback and everything. So I'm going to throw a question out to everybody, and everybody's going to take their turn answering, and then we're gonna close out here. So the question is, what is the best piece of advice you've ever been given, and by who? And we're going to give each creator 2 minutes to answer each question. So, Fish, you're up.
Oh man, the first like pro comic creator I ever met at a con was Eric Larson at our tiny little con that was still in the library, and I showed him some work that I had done recently, and he very politely told me I sucked, and it pissed me off, and I wanted to come up with all these excuses, but what he said to me that day is it doesn't matter what the excuse is. It doesn't matter how hard the client was to work with, how little they were paying. All that matters is that this is your work and your name. That's all the person's going to see when they read it. I'm not going to be standing there to make excuses. Well, you don't know how difficult Onrie was to work with. I can't make any of those excuses. Like, you're just reading it. This is my name and my work. It needs to be your best stuff every time. And it made me mad. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized he was right. And so I made a rule for myself from that point on that I was only going to do the best work I could in the time allotted. And my work got so much better. The clients were so much happier. The readers liked it so much better. And my reputation grew. And that has given me a career drawing muscle men beating each other up in their underwear. And that's how I paid my bills and keep a roof over my kids' head. It's freaking amazing. I don't care if 60 people read it from a Kickstarter. I get to make my living drawing comics. It's awesome. I love it. Best advice I ever got.
Dan, you're up, buddy.
Okay, so I have this thing where I try not to meet my heroes, and so I generally try and stay away. I will tell you a funny story real quick though, because it's one of those things that fuels me and motivates me. I was at Baltimore Heroes, something like that, last year, and I ran into I saw his table. And I went over to Jeff Loeb, and I gave him a copy of Bigfoot Knows Karate. And he flipped through it. He said, he handed it back to me. He goes, "Well, at least you're having fun." So with that being said, yeah, I've never told you that story, Chris. Anyway, so yeah, he said, "At least you're having fun." And I was like, all right, whatever. I've got some curse words going through my head, but whatever. I walk away. Less than 20 seconds later, all right, I'm walking back to my table, a little beaten up, and I hear, Dan. And I look up, and there's this Cat Mark Rosso that I know, okay? And he grabs me, and he pulls me to his table, and he goes, and he's talking to some people. He's pitching his stuff, and he goes, "If you don't know this guy, this is Dan Price. He has the best indie comic here. It's called Bigfoot Knows Karate. And let me tell you something." He stopped what he did, and he just pitched my book. He pitched my book for about, I don't know, it felt like 10 minutes. It was probably about 45 seconds. You know what I mean? But it was like after just getting this stupid fucking comment thrown in my face by, no offense, Jeff Lowe, but you pissed me off, pal. That happening and then turning around like right that second and somebody saying this is the best indie comic you can read in this convention. You know what? It's just fuel. It's just fuel. It's not that I got great comment from a pro or I got, you know what I mean? It's not that. It's just fuel, and it makes me work harder. And I appreciated what Mark said to me, and the timing couldn't have been better. And it's, look, I'm just happy to be in the game. Just making comics and having a good time doing it. And as to the reference you made earlier, Chris, about the comment of the dude that made earlier today, fuck that dude. All right. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know if y'all saw the thing that was going around Facebook, but yeah, all right, yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. There you go.
Awesome. And Dan, I remember when you told me this story too last year. So
yeah, no.
You were going to share that one as soon as you were out there.
This is the print I bought from him while he was insulting me. It was pretty cool. I keep the print up here because I bought the print, and then he said that. I'm like, I'm keeping this print right here by my side. I look at it all the time, and it just keeps me going, dude. I'm sorry. I'm petty.
Yeah. You've made it when you insult someone and they still buy your art.
Oh yeah, no shit, right? What a punk I was. So I'm gonna one day when I win my Eisner. I'm going to remember, that day where I'm like, and what I really want to do is I want to make a pull quote out of it so badly. At least you're having fun, Jeff Loeb, and just put it on the back of my book. I just think that'd be so badass. But anyway, moving on.
Don't need to do that.
Yeah, you should put that as a quote. You should put that as a quote on your Kickstarter.
Yeah, right.
I'd buy the T-shirt, man. That would be epic.
No, I'm sure he's a great guy. I don't know him from Adam, but but that's my moment, and that's that's my memory I have from the guy. So there you go.
Aaron, what's your story?
The best advice I got was from probably Travis Gibb, who advised me. I was already in communities like Facebook, but that was the big thing: is especially for new creators, is to get into communities. Comic community is the best. Very supportive, gives great advice. Sometimes it's hard to take, but the advice is always full of heart, and that's the best I could give. And what advice I would give is don't give up. I've had failed Kickstarters. It's hard to get back on the horse, but don't give up. The next one could fund, and then you can continue on. Blood and Fire, the first issue, didn't fund because I stupidly kept a lot of the add-ons and stuff back, thinking, the next one would be great to send it out. But I got advice: don't hold anything back, just go full throttle. So don't give up.
That's a great one. Stephan, I'm sure.
I mean, kind of a similar story as what you guys were saying. Like when I was just finishing animation school, we were doing internships and stuff like that at different studios, and it was back in France. And I was doing this internship on Babar the elephant. Okay, like at the end of the internship, on the last day, the guy who was the head of animation for the place kind of lets everybody go. And then he kind of holds me back, saying, "Oh, do you mind staying behind? I just want to talk to you." And I'm like, "Okay." So I'm sitting. He's like, "Let's go in my office." So I'm sitting with this guy, and he goes like, "All right, dude, I'm just gonna do you a solid. This is coming from love, but you have absolutely no talent for this at all. So you need to find something else to do." And of course you go like, you start crying and stuff like, but then you get up the next day and you go, "No, but that's what I want to do." And that was exactly 35 years ago, and I've been working the entire time, so. But then just want to give you the flip side of that, because I grew up in this environment, like especially I grew up in France, where people are a little bit more, as they say, cash than we are here, and they'll tell you what you're doing wrong immediately, so like my whole approach to art and drawing and stuff like that was, okay, what's wrong with this drawing, what's the problem here, and somebody would show you something and you go, immediately your brain would go to, right? And then so I got into my career, I moved here, I worked for a bunch of studios and stuff like that. And one of the thing that really saved me from that mentality was when I worked at Disney. I worked with Glenn Keane. If people don't follow animation, don't know who Glenn Keane is, but he supervised the Little Mermaid in The Little Mermaid, Aladdin in Aladdin, Beast in Beauty and the Beast, Pocahontas, whatever. And just saying that he's like to animation of the 90s and 2000s and 80s what Jack Kirby was to Marvel, the Marvel, it's not an understatement. So I was working with him, and he's an amazing, amazing artist and storyteller and person. And so I would see people bring him drawings and stuff, and immediately as the person, my old mind frame, kicks in, and this is like 20 years ago, my thing kicks in, and I see everything that's wrong with it. And like, oh boy, if I see everything that's wrong with this, dude, Glenn is going to tear this to shreds, right? But then he would look at the thing and would go like, the eye here, like there's an expression, there's a thing in this eye that you captured that's like, it's true to life. It's amazing. It's like there's truth in here. The rest is not quite there, but go back, start from what you found in this eye, just grow it back from there. It'll be amazing, right? And I was just like, oh my God, so there's another way to live, and that changed my life. Just working with that guy changed my life, not only as just a learning, and education, artistically speaking, but just in how to live through it, and so that's my advice to people. Don't look for what's wrong with it. Don't be paralyzed with the fear of doing it wrong. Doesn't matter. Just look for what's honest and true, and just chase that, and that's it.
Yeah, and Stephan, you actually gave me some really good advice too when I was working on Warline. It was, you had mentioned something about my lettering, and and I took that feedback, and it helped make it better. Those small things. It's not like you were like, oh man, you really need to go back to square one on this. You gave really good feedback that moved it forward, and it was good feedback. So, and that was a great story too. Joe, you're up.
Stan Lee, don't be a bitch. No, I'm kidding. No, actually, I got one that was pretty. Michael Golden at a bar, not at a hotel bar. I was bitching to him about my experience with DC, and I joined DC because I wanted to get on a run because I wanted to build up my profile. So it's like I wanted to get on any book. I didn't care. I was just, in my mind, I was actually I had the Mark Silvestri, the kick-ass mentality. It's like that he installed in me while I was working there. It's like, I'm just give me a book and I'll fucking destroy it. I'll kick ass on it. But they kept giving me a bunch of fill-ins, and it's like, so I was there. I was bitching about it, and he was like, "Oh, that's great." Michael, he's like, that's fucking great. That's really great. And I go, what do you mean? You get to draw all these different characters. You can have fun doing that. And it's like, I didn't approach it like that. I was so concerned about not having the run and not being able to build my brand. I neglected to actually enjoy the work, enjoy the process. And that was, again, it's like I try to do that now. And, it's whatever you do is just enjoy it, and don't get so worked up about the little details. It's like I see a book kind of like a song. It's got its ups and downs. It's got big splashes, little splashes, but little panels and stuff. But it's the rhythm of it, and a lot of times we get caught up in the little details that no one's even going to pay attention to. So it's like you just enjoy the process, enjoy the work, and have fun.
That's great. That's great advice. Matt, you're up.
All right, so I'm going to say one thing really quick and then a story that actually relates to some of the stuff that's been said on here. So the first thing is stay out of drama. You either are a creator or you're a politician. And if you decide that you want to be a politician, you want to get involved in all the drama, every time you get involved in drama, you're probably cutting your potential fan base in half, because there's going to be people that are going to disagree with that. So you got to decide, do you want your product to be in the most hands as possible, or do you want to be a political mouthpiece? The second thing is always treat every interaction you have with somebody as if that might be the only interaction that they get. You brought up Disney animators. We're really good friends with Peter Ramundo, who was a part of Disney at the same time that you were talking about Mulan, Lion King, all that. And we do a lot of shows where we're sitting near Peter at the shows. And I remember an interaction that we just had where there was a guy that was all psyched about meeting Peter, and every day he would come up and talk to us, and then he's like, I got to go do something. I got to go get this guy a lanyard. And it was just a lanyard for just whatever. And the guy walked up to Peter, and I was looking over at Peter's table, and he walked up and he handed Peter this lanyard. And Peter kind of looked up at him, and he goes like this, and he pulls his thing up, and he's like, dude, I've already got my guest badge, and it's already on a lanyard. And the guy tried to give him the lanyard again, and Peter just looked up, and he grabbed the lanyard, and he pulled it out. He's like, thanks. And he put it on. The guy walked away. He waited for the guy to get down the hallway, and then he took it off and put it on his table. And he's like, dude, that could have been the only interaction that dude is ever going to have with me. Even though it was weird, I want that guy to leave having a positive thought of who I was as a person. And even if the interaction was weird, I was willing to do that so that way I didn't spoil that guy's thought of Peter Raimundo, who animated this and animated that. He didn't want to leave thinking he was a dick. And I thought that was a great life lesson for all of us. You know, you never know. That could be literally the only time somebody's going to meet you at your table or on a live stream. And you don't want them to leave with the sour taste in their mouth based on the way that you interacted with them in that situation.
Very well said. That is everything you said just now. I completely 100% agree with. Chris, go ahead.
So I got my dad. I was like 10 years old, and I used to work with him on his tractor trailer every summer. And my first year with him, I was a little bitch, and he got tired of me, and he used to move a lot of like big equipment, and it was cross country. I was exhausted. I was whining like a little kid that, you know, I wanted a hotel and I wanted food and all these things. And he's like, well, you got to do the work first. And there was this box that was probably 4 to 5 times my size, just in height. And it was in one of those old computer like server towers. So this thing was about 10 feet tall, 5 feet wide, outweighed me by a ton. And it's laying this way, and he wants it this way because we have to put more stuff in the truck. And we're in Arizona, and he says, I'm going to go get us some food. When I come back, I want that thing standing up. And I looked at him. I said, Dad, you're freaking crazy. I can't do that. And he said, it's an empty server box. You can move it. You can do it. If you go through life saying I can't, then you can't. He said, when I come back, it's moved. If it's not, then you can't have a hotel room. I was big on having my own hotel room. I cried. I threw a fit. He had to walk to get food. So it was like a 45-minute time period. This is the 90s. You can leave a 10-year-old kid in the truck and, you know, he's going to be fine. He comes back, and it's standing upward, and I am covered in dirt, blood, and tears, and smiling my ass off because I did it, and I was very proud of myself. And he said, how'd you do it? And I said, well, I grabbed the hand truck, and I shoved it under one side, and I put all my weight on it, and there was just enough room for me to crawl underneath of it and push it like I do in football until it flipped. He said, how long did it take you? I said, about 15, 20 minutes. And he said, so you could do it? I said, yeah. And he said, so now you can walk through life and say, I can do it. And I've had that mentality ever since I was 10. I joined my first band pretending to know how to play guitar. We got signed by a record label. I started doing comics without knowing what I was doing. I'm here. I did bodybuilding for a while, didn't know what I was doing. Took home a first place after 5 years. So everything I do, I don't say I can't do it. I just don't know how to do it. And I would suggest everybody do the same thing. Like if you put your mind to it and you put your time into it, you'll get there. I watch a lot of videos of other creators. And when I first got into this, I watched a Todd McFarlane video that said no matter how many jobs he was working, he put an hour minimum into making comic books every day. And he's there. So, you know, no matter how many times I'm told you suck or whatever the things people can say, I'm still here. I'm going to do it. And no one can ever tell me that I can't.
That's excellent. All of you guys have inspired me so much. We're over our time now, and we need to end this broadcast so that Jay can, call it a night and not, give me some good advice about how I could end my shows on time. But I want to thank everybody in this room right now. Thank you all for being here. Like I said, guys, I back every single person in this room's campaign. I hope you will join me and do the same thing. So please check out these guys' campaigns and give them some money, give them some love. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. I hope to do this again with you guys. I wish you all the best of luck. I hope you hit not just your funding goals, but your actual goals on these campaigns, because we all know there's a real goal. There's a funding goal, and then there's the real goal. I hope all of those things for you come into fruition. So thank you all for being here. We're done for tonight. Have a great evening, and I will be on the air tomorrow night for a raffle giveaway of Tales from the Crypt #1. That's going to happen at 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. I will see you guys then. Everyone take care. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Lots.
Thank you.
Thanks, Onrie.
Thank you.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.